The moment you become an ex-spouse, you must also become an ex-parent.
Similarly, the moment the child realizes that their pathogenic parent is pathogenic, they split on you and you're all bad, just like they split on that parent during the divorce. Hi, and welcome back to the Anti-Alienation Project, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Maddie, and here I talk about all things related to a certain form of child psychological that I went through for 20 years. It's often called parental alienation. Now, I've covered a lot of experts in this space, and by far, the expert that seems to resonate with my experience and seems to have the best understanding of this pathology is Dr. Craig Childress. Now, I want to give a disclaimer that, first of all, I'm not an expert. I am a child who lived through this abuse. Secondly, I don't speak for all children who've been through this. This is simply my experience, my opinions. As always, please like the video to help me get it in the algorithm and educate more people about parental alienation. Without further ado, let's just get into it. So this video is actually coming from Dorsey Pruder's channel on YouTube, Dorsey Pruder TV, and she has a whole playlist called Foundation, Dr. Craig Childress. I'm going to skip to the third video in that playlist, which is called The Pathogen and Mental Health, Dr. Craig Childress. So let's check it out.
Hello, I'm Dr. Childress. In this video segment, I'll be discussing the defensive structures of this pathogen that it uses to disable the mental health response and disempower you. This pathogen is very sophisticated. I've never encountered this level of sophistication in any other psychological pathogen I've ever worked with. And it's not only sophisticated, it's extremely malignant and vicious. This pathogen's extraordinarily dangerous. It has 3 levels of defensive structures. The first and primary level is to remain hidden. It has 2 ways it remains hidden. First, it hides behind the child, and then it projects the focus of attention over onto you, the targeted parent. Now, I'll have more to say on these defensive processes as things move forward, but I want to alert them to you in this segment so that you'll understand what we're up against.
Okay, right away, this is interesting. I think it's common knowledge, or at least it is intuitive. If you've been through this, you can intuitively know that the pathogen does hide behind the child, and it also projects onto the targeted parent, so that everybody believes the targeted parent is the pathological person, when in fact it's the parent behind the child. It's like the Wizard of Oz. Don't look behind the curtain. Yeah. So Dr. Childress, he just has a way of laying it out very clearly.
The primary defense of the pathogen is to hide, to stay concealed. It's not me, it's the child. It's the other parent who's abusive of the child. This pathogen thrives in the shadows and in the darkness. It hides beneath a veil of concealment.
Oh yeah, it certainly does. And that's why I have a lot of people upset with what I'm doing, because I'm bringing it to light. And it's not just me who's doing this, by the way. There are many other people who are doing this, bringing it to light. But a lot of my videos trigger a lot of people because this pathogen does not want to be seen and exposed. It wants to thrive in the darkness. Secrecy is how this thrives. Truth is how we stop this pathogen, in my opinion. That's why my family motto is we tell the truth. That's my family motto. My kids know it. My husband knows it. We all know that the truth is super important.
As long as it's not seen, it's free to enact the pathology. In creating this veil of concealment, the pathogen first co-opts the child into being a mere reflection of the narcissistic borderline parent through processes I describe in Foundations. Once it's eliminated the authentic child and replaced the child with its own reflection, the pathogen then places the child out front on display to enact the pathology, while the controlling pathogen remains hidden behind the child. The child's the puppet, the pathogen's the puppet master. And just like in a stage show with a ventriloquist, when an audience member is invited on the stage, the audience member always winds up talking to the puppet rather than the ventriloquist. So when the child's presented to the world, everyone assumes that the child's authentic. So they only see and talk to the puppet child rather than seeing the controlling puppet master. The pathogen is able to remain hidden behind the child. It's not me, it's the child who doesn't want to go on visitations. I tell the child to go, but it's the child who's refusing to go. It's not me.
Now, he's absolutely correct, and I want to talk about it a little bit from the child's point of view, because the child, believe it or not, is made to believe it's all their own decision. The alienating parent, at least in my case, would often say, I'm worried that one day you're going to blame me for your relationship with your other parent. And I would have to comfort them and absolve them of any fear or guilt they might have had and say, no, it's all my decision. It's all my decision. You're not making me have a bad relationship with them. It's all my decision. They would even say things like, it's not me making you not want to go with them, right? It's all your decision, right? Of course, Mom, it's all my decision. Of course, I can make my own decisions, even though I was 9, 10, 11, 12. You're so easily influenced at those ages. So take it a step further. Yes, the pathogen hides behind the child, and the pathogen convinces the child it's all their decision. The child believes it's all their decision. So the pathogen hides behind the child and convinces the child it's all their decision. The child embodies the pathogen fully. It doesn't even know it's a pathogen. Very sad.
It's the child who doesn't want their mom to attend the child's baseball games. It's not me, though. It's the child. Just ask the child. The primary defense for this pathogen is to remain hidden. Another means to remain hidden is to project the focus of attention onto you, the targeted parent. There are 2 ways it does this. First, through the child's accusations against you. When ignorant therapists believe the child is authentic, they naturally follow the child's accusations and make you the focal target of their clinical attention. Well, there must be something bad about you if the child doesn't want to be with you. Children love their parents. If the child doesn't love you, it must mean you're a bad parent. Let's see, in what ways are you a bad parent? You're not a bad parent. You're a fine parent. It's the other parent, the one with the narcissistic and borderline personality traits. That's the bad parent. In fact, a horrendous parent. Yet the child's accusations against you make you, the normal range parent, the focus of attention, which diverts the focus of attention off the pathogenic narcissistic borderline parent. It's like a sleight of hand magic show. First, we have the ventriloquist throwing his voice, and then we have a sleight of hand distraction to divert attention away from where the action really is. Mm-hmm. I'm the wonderful parent. Nothing to see over here. Hey, look at that bad parent over there. You should go look at that parent. Me, I'm the wonderful parent. The pathogen maintains a veil of concealment. First, by placing the child out in front and hiding behind the child, and then by diverting the focus of attention over onto you, by using and exploiting the child's induced accusations that you're the bad parent. The pathogen is then able to enact the pathology by remaining hidden.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And the child's fooled in the entire process. They believe the other parent is the pathogen, is the bad parent, is the one who doesn't love them, doesn't care about them, is crazy, selfish, narcissistic, whatever the case may be. Now, imagine going through this as a child. Years go by, maybe decades go by. A whole lifetime can go by, and you're believing that your normal range loving parent is pathogenic. Now imagine realizing that you have been a puppet in a long con, that you have been fully manipulated and used by a parent who you wanted to love you, who you believed was a protective parent, and you've rejected an actually loving parent the whole time. You feel like you've gotten everything backwards, And that's because of the projection. So the child is not aware of the manipulation. I think most parents watching, most people watching know that. I just like to reinforce it because if they knew, everything would be different. And when you learn the truth, your life almost collapses around you. You don't know up from down. You don't know what is real. It's hard to trust yourself to know who to trust, what to trust, or what's real in the world because you've been so duped for so long.
If, however, someone is able to penetrate the veil of concealment that hides the pathogen and actually sees the pathogen, this then represents a threat to the pathogen's ability to enact the pathology. The pathogen must enact the pathology. This isn't a choice. This is a neurologically imposed imperative because of the splitting dynamic that I described in Foundations. The moment you become an ex-spouse, you must also become an ex-parent.
Similarly, the moment the child realizes that their pathogenic parent is pathogenic, in your head, they split on you and you're all bad, just like they split on that parent during the divorce or the breakup. So just in the same way that your partner becomes your ex when they split on you, when they start to see the pathogen, your child too, they split on the child when they learn the truth and they become an ex-child, if you want to call it something. And this is so painful. I've said it before, but I will say it again. There is, as a child who's been manipulated to reject a parent, and you are the one who's hiding the pathogen without even knowing it. You think you're making the right decision. You think you're doing the right thing. And there's a proverbial knife, metaphorical knife, being held at your back the whole time.